It's a blessed Monday, and I want to greet all the change champions. I want to salute all the compatriots, the comrades of change, the intercessors for the new great Zimbabwe, the participants of the new great Zimbabwe, and the blue train, wherever you are, all over the world. Welcome to Live with Chatufa. And I really want to salute you for standing with your channel, for supporting us. And every time I know that there is always members of the family that are already waiting to hear the discussion that we have in every day. And it is really very, very encouraging to see that we have a family that is backing up the channel and everything that we are doing in upon this platform. So I hope you had a blessed weekend, and I can see that already people are excited on a Monday, and a lot is already happening in the nation. We are in a season of activity, a season where a lot of things are happening. Most of the things that we are seeing happening are things that we have been discussing, things we've been speaking about even from the last year, and we are seeing them manifesting one by one, a sign that indeed God is speaking and God is directing us and God is on the move. So thank you very much for those that have joined us, and we want to go straight into the discussion of today. But before we do that, please also remember to subscribe to the channel, like and share if you have not done this. It is very important for you to keep notified each time that we are coming out live. Right. Zimbabwe hits the highest world inflation record as ZANU-PF celebrates by-election victory. This is what we are discussing today. It is very, very ironic that we are finding ZANU-PF, clutching on straws and, making a mountain out of an anthill, where they are celebrating councillors that have won, a councillor that is one in, I think, one in Harare. I'm not sure whether the other one is in Chinoy or somewhere, but, they are making so much noise about it while the inflation in the country has hit a world highest right now. As we speak, Zimbabwe is the highest country, the highest nation in the whole world in terms of inflation. And our question would always remain, why is it that ZANU-PF is so good at celebrating victory of elections when they cannot celebrate victory when it comes to economics and running the country as expected? It is, if they are so masters of schemes and plans of how they can continue to hold on to power, why can't they employ the same tactics and plans and schemes to make sure that the economy of the country or the systems of the country may function well? So I would just want us to go and look at what is happening, and then we discuss on the information that we are having in terms of what we have on the social media. People are already talking about it. The issue is all up there, and this is Steve Hanke's inflation dashboard. So Professor Steve Hanke has always been taking statistics on the inflation of Zimbabwe and how the economics of Zimbabwe go. And in most cases, you'd find that we always have these statistics from him. And these statistics are hidden now by ZANU-PF. The ZANU-PF government is no longer producing these statistics. The ZimStats itself is no longer giving out this information. And the reason is they want to hide from the public, from the masses, what really is happening in the economy. But it will not work, it will not help, because at the end of the day, the results of what is happening in the economy will come out whether they like it or not. It will just show itself, it is just going to be exposed, and people will just start to feel exactly what is happening. So here, Professor Steve says it's inflation dashboard. It means prices continue to rise as the Zim dollar loses power and the effects of heavy taxation kick in. Zimbabwe is the highest inflation rate. So this is where we are. So I would just want to show us the post here. And this is the analysis that has been done. When you look at all the countries, the ranking from number 1 up to number 13, you'd find that Zimbabwe is at the top, having an annual measured inflation rate at 1,605%. This is February 2024. Last recorded official inflation rate was 47.60%. So can you look at this? This does not look good. This does not look good for ZANU-PF and Mthuli, and as well as Emmerson Mnangagwa. If you remember, in the beginning of the year, family, we spoke about this, and we indicated that one of the things that are going to be very, very, threatening to the rule of Mnangagwa is going to be the inflation, the economy itself. And look at what is happening. And this actually is less than what is happening in the black market. Right now, as we speak, the black market rate is 2,200 per $1. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. Now, when you see the black market rising like that, because even the companies and the supermarkets, all those retailers, they are actually looking at what is happening at the black market. They are not using some of the bank rates that ZANU-PF talks about, because bank rates is only for the bosses of ZANU-PF, where they are buying US dollar at a cheap price, and they take it to the black market and sell it at a higher price. So this is what is happening. Just imagine that Zimbabwe would be worse than countries like Sudan. Just imagine countries like Syria. When you look at the war that is in Syria and the war in Sudan, just imagine, worse than South Sudan. Just imagine. Ethiopia and Liberia, among other countries. Just look at this. And this is what ZANU-PF is doing. And this is what ZANU-PF is calling leadership. And this is what Emmerson Mnangagwa is saying. He wants to continue running the country when the country is going to this level of inflation, to become a laughing stock of the whole world. And Mnangagwa says he wants to be there until 2030. Doing what? Doing what when we are seeing the country nosediving, the economy of the country just on a free fall like we are seeing right now. And just imagine, we are just in the first quarter of the year. Where will we be by the last quarter of the year? This figure is going to be amazing, this one. It's just going to be very, very amazing by the time that we reach to the end of the year. As long as ZANU-PF is still there, this figure is never going to go down. Because right now, there is nothing that they are doing in terms of reviving the economy. There is nothing. They are busy politicking. They are busy looting. Nobody is sitting down to watch what is happening in the markets and coming out with the right mechanisms and systems of how they can curb this runaway inflation that we are experiencing in the country. And it is very, very sad. I just want us to hear what some of the people, citizens, are saying here. Murungu Asina Pras says, at least Tave number one manje. Just imagine. Somebody's Gaza says, who is being prepared to become Reserve Bank governor? Is this not the time for proper handover of such important institution? It's not being spoken about. ZANU-PF is quiet. Mnangagwa can do things and he forgets that a sector like this, which is very, very important, needs to be attended to quickly. But at times he forgets and doesn't think about it. Zim dollar is only an instrument for fishing out US dollar. That's why they keep this Zim dollar. They want the Zim dollar because it is their commodity of exchange at the black market, where they are amassing much US dollars using that defunct currency of Zimbabwe. The only way out of Zim is to aggressively push for the envisioned SADC Union currency. It shall be very difficult to win the confidence and trust of citizens after what they've lost so much many times. This is exactly what is happening. It is just a sign of the trust that citizens don't trust their government. They don't trust those in leadership. They don't trust those that are running the economy. So if they implement whatever policies, we've said this many times, that the value of the money or the success of any economy is solely based on the trust of the masses, of the population. If the population is in agreement with the policymakers, you just find the money stabilizing on its own and everything just moving on well. Right. So someone is saying, summary is Zimbabwe's inflation has surged to 1,605%, leading to rising prices and a weakening Zimbabwean dollar, making it the country with the highest inflation rate globally. Just imagine, globally, the whole world, right? And it is said, black market economists are better than he who heads the Reserve Bank, because at the end of the day, everyone follows the black market exchange rate. This is exactly what I was saying, that, you know, even those that are in retail, those that are in business, they don't work with the bank rate. They will always work with what happens in the streets, right? Steve Hanke gives us more accurate data than IMF and World Bank. Yeah, I agree with this Morven Shumba, because you can find IMF coming up with a report. I still have not gotten to understand why they do that. You can find IMF coming to say the Zimbabwean economy is performing very, very well. They've said that they've given such reports for I think twice, if not three times. And you'd wonder what is happening with IMF. It's surprising. When the country is just sinking every day, they would come up with such a report. And they've done it about 2-3 times. And we saw ZANU-PF getting that report and bringing it to their social media and propaganda, and, you know, making noise about it. Yet they know truthfully behind, deep down in their hearts, that this is not true. But they would just want to politic every time. So Ed Marsh says, at least we are number one at something in the world. Just imagine. Yeah, he's saying at least we are number one in something, because we are always the last. So on this one, Zimbabwe is leading. But it's bad. It's bad, really, what ZANU-PF is doing, what this leadership is doing to our country. A country that is so rich in minerals, so rich in natural resources, wouldn't be a country that is supposed to be the worst performing economy of the world, especially when it is not a war-torn country. It's surprising. And Trevor says, and they want to defend their own currency, dreaming to compete with the other currencies on the forex market. Yes, you heard Mtuli Ncube saying we are going to defend the US dollar, the Zimbabwean dollar, and we were asking the question that what defense is he talking about? Do you need to fight? Does it have to be like football where you are defending the Zim dollar? It doesn't need to be defended. The Zim dollar just needs to have acceptance from the people. The economy must accept it. The markets must accept it. The policies of ZANU-PF must be accepted by the Zimbabwean people. Then everything will start to work. As long as there's still elections and they are using force and they are running the country on iron fist, they will never be able to run a successful economy. So ZANU-PF can forget about it. They will never be able to revive the economy of Zimbabwe. It will never happen. So someone says, short time Chayo are here. They now charge $10 even upwards per booster. So it's news to us. This is what is happening around. Someone else also said, we have resigned to fate. You see, somebody has just surrendered and say, no, we just watch things happening. Yes, printing and strengthening the independence of. So this is said, somebody is saying, another person is saying, ZANU-PF excellence on display. Print more money is what bandana republics do, right? So it's about printing, they print and print. Whenever they find that there is shortage of money, they don't have any problem. Simply go and print. So when you look at this report that is coming from Steve Hanke, and I remember last time they were attacking, ZANU-PF were attacking Professor Steve Hanke because he's producing such reports. But he's not doing it for Zimbabwe only, he's doing it for all other countries. Actually, he has just shown up to number 13, but he always does up to even 100 countries. But why are these other countries not attacking Professor Steve Hanke and only Zimbabwe? You see, the problem with the ZANU-PF, the entitlement spirit of thinking that nobody has the right to show their weaknesses or to tell them about the issues that they are not doing right. They would always want to come and attack. They attack other presidents, they attack other political parties, they attack other nations, they attack, other politicians and things like that, because they just think they are superior. But I'm telling you, this is just a big lie. ZANU-PF is just lying to themselves. They are not going to be surviving this. These are some of the things that are going to drive them quickly to finding themselves out of power. Because what can you do? There are things that they can never control. There are things that they will never be able to control, like the economy. Right now, they are making noise celebrating a win of a councillor, 2 councillors that they won, and they are making noise about it. What are 2 councillors? What is so important about a councillor? Will that change the economic situation of the country? They are busy on elections, always electioneering, always in the election mode. When the country needs leaders that really sit down and start to work out strategies of how to revive the economy, to put in policies that they in consultation with the masses and agree on one thing. But this government is a government that just comes to tax people. It's all about taxation, taxation after taxation. And there is no economy that can survive on purely on taxation, like what Mthuli Ncube came to introduce this time around. They are not going to make it. They are not going to survive it. And this is one of the things that is really going to be biting ZANU-PF hard, and Emmerson Mnangagwa threatening his rule and threatening his continuity. And when he continues to push for the 3rd term, when the scenario is like this, I'm telling you, even those in ZANU-PF would never even want to hear about it, because they are saying, what is it that you want to do? You want to go to 2030 doing what? Because this inflation is not only hitting on the opposition members or ordinary citizens, it's hitting everyone, including those that are in ZANU-PF. And nobody can be celebrating this kind of scenario when the country is sinking day in and day out. So Mnangagwa is just a perennial failure. ZANU-PF is a colossal failure, and they've just been doing things that do not work at the end of the day. There is nothing that they lay their hand on that will ever work. Nothing. They try to run elections, it's a sham. They try to run an economy, it's a sham. They try to lead in agriculture, it's a sham. They try to lead in politics, it's a disaster. There is nothing that is working. Zimbabwe is just stagnant. Zimbabwe is not rising. Zimbabwe is not going anywhere. This is why we are saying we need a new great Zimbabwe. This blue train is coming, and definitely we are standing to make sure that as intercessors, we are praying for the coming of the new great Zimbabwe. The new great Zimbabwe is a nation that is going to turn around the misfortunes of ZANU-PF that they have brought upon the nation of Zimbabwe. We want to see a new life, a new country, a new state, a new government, a new economy, new currency, and a new system that runs the country effectively. And this is the only way that we are going to see Zimbabwe coming back again to work. Otherwise, there is no way it can work. What we are saying as citizens is we are demanding that we need freedom from ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF must release our country. ZANU-PF has failed Zimbabwe and Zimbabweans. And the time for them to go is now. And as the Lord continues to guide us in our prayer, we have been declared and given that the season for the end of ZANU-PF is now. And we are standing on the promise that the season has come, and we are pushing it by prayer, by declaring the word of God over the nation. And definitely, I'm telling you, there is no other way. The country is going one direction, the direction of change. Whatever can happen, other winds can rise, other activities can happen, other politicians can perform in different ways and different directions, but there is only one direction where the country is going. The country is going towards change, and this is what is going to happen. So I just want us to look at one or two of some contributions that are coming from the members of the family. My sister Ajne says, "Morning, my brother. I think you had a blessed weekend waiting for the update. Thanks." Yes, indeed. The weekend was a blessed one, and I just hope everyone was also blessed wherever they are. Thank you very much, Brother Reason, Brother Johan. They are all greeting Bibi in Toronto. Thank you very much. Yes, memory guards, my sister. How are you? Thank you very much, Fungai Shoko. Thank you for greetings. Yes, there is a comment here. Something interesting. Dr. Ian Love says Chamisa's hibernation is chance to experience that leadership is not one man thing like with Lacoste. A collapse of CCC was God's plan to strengthen Cham. This is what we are always saying. This is exactly, my brother, this is what we are always saying here on the show, that God is on the move. The things that you are seeing happening in the nation, happening in the politics, happening around in the society, we are seeing the move of God. This is why we have a platform like Chatuva Television Productions. We are talking about the move of God. And you can see that there is confirmation that is coming from all over servants of God, also talking about the same thing that we are always saying also hear, because as intercessors, we don't just pray amiss. We pray and the Lord gives us direction. The Lord speaks. And this is why we are saying, if he continues to assure us that the season for change has come, it is definitely going to happen. As we are looking at the events that are happening, they are coming to pass one after the other, one after the other. Right. Mogara muchitaura vanagogo veshanduko, tiripo madzikuru eshanduko. Yes, we always remember, tinokutaurawo vanasekuru, kuda dzimwe nguva hamutinzwi, but we always say vanagogo nanasekuru veshanduko. Thank you very much, sekuru veshanduko, nanasekuru vese veshanduko nanagogo. Thank you very much, ogogo vonke venguquko, lavokulu vetu siyalitanda. Thank you very much, wherever you are. We love you, we love you. Continue to support the work, continue to support the channel, continue to stand with us as we are preaching the gospel of the freedom of the Zimbabwean people. Clever says, Bruno kutoti vakurumidze kubuda mupower. Remember, everything they are doing is a move to their destruction. Exactly. I agree with you 100%. I agree with you. My sister Eva says, ZANU-PF, don't worry about suffering of Zimbabweans. They just think about positions. Shame. Cry, my country. Indeed, they think they are going to manage. MNANGAGWA is such a liability, not only to Zimbabwe, but to SADC as well. Yes, we are going to be talking about that issue, the discussion that was held in SADC, especially discussing the issue of Emmerson Mnangagwa and the new sanctions that have come. So I think you have seen the banner already. It is on. That is an issue that we are going to be discussing. I don't know what time. I think it is the show that was coming around 5, 6, somewhere there. It's the evening show. We are going to be talking about that exactly on Chatufa television production on our main channel. Right. Bryson says nechimwe chine nguva yacho ndokutooneka kwava kutoita mhepo yacho iri kurova masaidi ese vanoenda chete. Remember, we are in that wind. We are in the season of the wind. The wind has started, and as intercessors, let's continue praying. The enemy is biting the dust this time around. I wonder why SADC is treating Mnangagwa with the kid's glove when he is putting the region in jeopardy. This time around, after the declaration that has happened with the American government on sanctions, I'm telling you, there is a heat now in SADC. There is a heat, international heat now, because from Zimbabwe, there was not much pressure that came from Zimbabwe. But this time around, the international world is putting so much pressure on SADC. And this is the issue that we are going to be touching, like I was saying, in the show that is coming in the evening on the main channel. We are going to be talking about how SADC is under serious pressure because of Emmerson Mnangagwa and what he has done and the sanctions that have been leveled against him and his cronies. Otherwise, this is it. We are going to be meeting again in the next show. I think that's the 1:30, if I'm correct, where we are going to be talking about ZANU-PF threatening Blessed Mhlanga, and we are going to be meeting live with Chatufa. So for now, thank you very much, family, for joining me. This is the issue that we were discussing. The country is falling, the economy is going down, while ZANU-PF is celebrating elections. And elections are not giving any outcome that is helping the nation. Elections are not going to be helping us bringing food on the table for Zimbabwean people or to improve the livelihood of Zimbabwean people, because we've just seen that elections is just a sham in Zimbabwe. It is just, drama that ZANU-PF is doing. But at the end of the day, that elections and whatever that they produce is not going to be working for Zimbabwe anymore. I don't think there is anyone who is still interested in elections anyway, especially when that bogus Triple C party of theirs have refused to enter the elections, giving ZANU-PF all those seats on a silver platter. Right now, they are going to be declaring the Mount Pleasant and the Harare East constituency by elections. And already they have given to ZANU-PF by the BTs, the Nubes, the Shabangus, and the like. So no one is interested. Let them do what they want to do. But we are looking at the move and the wind of change that the Lord has released in the season. That is what we are concentrating on. Let ZANU-PF do what they want. We'll see where they go to. Even if they take 100% of those seats in parliament and then do what? That cannot stop the winds. The winds of economics, the economy falling, the pressure that is coming from SADC and internationally, the sanctions that are leveled against them, and many other pressures that are rising and coming against them. So they are going to go down, whether they have 100% MPs in parliament, ZANU-PF will still fall. So family, thank you so much for joining me. We are going to be meeting in the next show, I think around 1:30. Stay blessed and shalom, shalom. You are blessed. I sign out.